G'day guys, this episode is brought to you by Kratzmann's RV Super Centre out of Burpengary.
Burpengary, mate.
Mate, motorhomes and caravans, they're the only destination you need to go to. You don't need them. For 40 years,
One-stop
they've been
shop.
selling. That's it. And you say to me, you want to tow a caravan somewhere? I just say go to Kratzmann. That's it. Now listen, don't miss, we're getting to the end of the year, financial year, so you've got roughly 21 days till this end of financial year sale is over. So pull your finger out. Go out to Burpengary. Give them a call. Kratzmann's Caravan. Tell them you love Kevie, you hate Dobbo, but you love inside balls.
Inside balls to go.
Inside balls to go. And look, they will look after you. They've got the biggest ever sale taking place at the moment, up to $20,000 of some new and used caravans and motorhomes. Not all of them, but there is up to 20 grand of them. Go out there, give them a call. Burpengary's a destination. Kratzmann's RV Super Centre out there at Burpengary. The best caravans, the best motorhomes. Mate, why would you shop anywhere else? Hello, welcome to Inside Ball. Well, round 14 is done.
Yeah.
Broncos are back, baby, and we've got a Queensland side that's been named. Hello, Kev. How are you?
Dobbo. Good, mate. Another great weekend of footy.
Yeah, big weekend. We'll get to that. Let's talk the big news. And the Origin side has been named for Game 2 for Queensland. New South Wales won't name their side till tomorrow or tonight after King's birthday weekend, Dogs Parramatta clash. So
They've
Kurt
got 4
Mann,
or 5 players involved
yeah,
in that,
well,
haven't
Kurt Mann's in the Bulldogs side. He's been named the Queensland side.
Right.
But the breaking yarn has been, and this has just been officially, that Daly Cherry Evans has been axed from the Origin side. Captain, 26 games for his state. He's won series, countless series. It's a huge story. And just your initial thoughts, Kev.
Well, I think we're all sort of expecting this to happen after all the news over the weekend that he was possibly going to be left out. I particularly think that the nail was put in the coffin on Thursday night after they're leading 22. Was it 22-0 against Newcastle? Yeah. Ended up getting run down.
Yeah, golden point.
So I think that was sort of the end of the road for DCE, and it is sad, but everyone has to retire from state of origin.
Yeah, but Kevie's the captain.
Most players. The last one to do this was Trevor Gilmoster back in 1996. He got dropped after game 1, right? So most players know when their time is up at Origin, and they don't allow that decision to be made for them by someone else. There's a lot, all right? So DCE wanted to keep playing, so this is what happens when you take the decision out of your hands when you get to that stage. Do I disagree with it? No. Do I agree with it? No. It was one of those, a tricky one all the time. But again,
I disagree with it.
Do you? Yeah.
Yeah, I do.
I think it's
I think he deserved the right, and I can understand former players, and Gordy had this opinion yesterday, and I'm sure you do, that no one owns that jersey.
No one owns that jersey, right? You come in, you try and make it better when you're in there, and you hang it up in the Queensland State of Origin cupboard when you leave.
You don't think he deserved to,
I don't, because you got to have a look. You got to have one eye on the future, Dobbo. One eye on the present, one eye on the future. Now, if Queensland wins game 2, right, DCE's there for game 3, right? If they lose, the series is done, and they haven't made a start. They haven't made any progress.
Well, why did they select him for game 1 then? Like this, I'm being honest.
Because give him that opportunity, right? To give him that opportunity, right? You go out and play your best football.
Well, should he have been told that?
You know that, mate. You don't need.
If you're the captain of a Queensland
side, you don't
need
to be told this could be your last game of Origin, because that applies to everyone, and it's not just form; it's also injuries, suspensions. When you get to that age, it's a matter of time when your last game is. So, unfortunately for DC, and I love DC, I love coaching him as well, but I can understand the reasoning why he's not there for game 2. They want, Billy's gone for younger legs. Tom Dearden, and I think James Gray mentioned this on one of the either Fox or something about let's not be too harsh on DCE, but if you look at form line, Tom Dearden is the best Queensland number 7 right now. His form for the Cowboys and what he's been doing, and all the stats, you can line them all up. Tom Dearden's line up, unfortunately, better than DCE. So for me, that makes it a little bit easier for Billy to make the decision, but it's still a really tough decision. And I'm fortunate at my time as the Queensland Origin coach, I had to make some of these decisions, not on the captain, of course, but it's a tough one for both Billy and DCE, and I've got a lot of admiration, as I said, for DCE and what he has done for Queensland the last 4 or 5 years.
Well,
he's been brilliant.
Yeah, okay. Well,
he's had a great career.
We're going to agree to
he should be really proud of his career at Origin level.
Yeah.
And the flip side of this too is that he can now focus on Manly. They're not travelling real well at the moment.
Well at all.
He can focus on Manly and leave Manly with a premiership.
Well, let's go through this Queensland side. Now we know, Kev, and I'll just give you an alphabetical order. Then I'm going to break down what I'm hearing at the moment. Capewell, Carrigan, Xavier Coates, Lindsay Collins, Reuben Cotter, Tom Dearden, Tino, Mo, Harry Grant, Val Holmes, Corey Horsburgh, Jack Howarth, Trent Liero, Ezra Mam, Kurt Mam, Cameron Munster, Jeremiah Nanai, Kalen Ponga, The Hammer, and Robert Toyer.
Right, so what's the big changes you're hearing?
Well,
There's a few names in there.
What I'm hearing is so if let's take away the alphabetical, let's look at 1 to 17.
Yeah.
What do I think it'll be?
Don't get me started on alphabetical.
Yeah, okay.
announcement of teams.
So
That's
I know
for
they've
another
gone
podcast.
alphabetical. This is what I think the side will be. I think Ponga's obviously the fullback. I think Coates will change to his preferred side,
I've
which
heard
is
a bit around that.
he's a left-hand winger, left-hand side winger, right?
Well, he is for the Melbourne Storm.
Melbourne Storm. So he plays on the left there.
He'll mark Lomax.
Yeah, I think Hammer will be on the right, and Val Holmes and Robert Toyer in the centres. So
Right.
Val's obviously played left centre.
Yep.
Toyer's your right centre.
That makes sense.
That makes sense. You've got Dearden and you've got then Munster.
Right. Now, Dearden and Munster are both left side players, aren't they?
Well, they're going to have to. I don't know how
Munster will
that
stay
works
on the
out.
left side. Dearden will go right.
Right.
Because he's a natural right.
And he can go that way. So then you've got Tino and Mo and Harry Grant. Now, this is where Capewell's in there for both of them. Capewell will start. And I think they keep Reuben Cotter. Right? I think Nanai will go to the bench to get a bit more punch. I think the biggest problem is that they identified they didn't have the punch.
Yeah, well, I don't agree with that, but it's not my...
Now, obviously, everybody thinks it's Carrigan. Liero, there was talk last week Liero could start to give Carrigan a bit more off the bench. So they've got a heavier bench, and Lindsay Collins as well. So I think Kurt Mam is the 14, and I think, Ezra Mam, Jack Howarth and Corey Horsburgh, they're the extended.
So
Horsburgh is in the extended squad,
He's
but
not in
he's
the-
not in the side. No, he's not in the 17.
Yeah, that surprises me.
And look, mate, this is subjective and a lot can change, but this is just my understanding of the side
Righto.
as we speak today.
Well, so what's there? About 3 changes to the...
Yeah, 1 change with Capewell coming in, 2 changes, Fermor dropped and same with DCE,
Yep.
and then it's just shuffling the chairs.
the chess pieces.
Yeah.
Righto.
So, I mean, I like the backline composition. I don't know if I'd start, I thought Cotter might have been a bench player. Nanai and Capewell makes a lot more sense on the edges, but hey, this is not our team to pick.
No.
This is Billy's team,
Well,
and he's
they'll
going...
have a good crack, whatever.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter what where they're starting. So, well, that's a stronger team than game 1, I believe.
Yeah.
It's got a lot more to like about it with a few positional changes.
Yeah. And look, that could change this week. That's only when it's in alphabetical. You won't till you see them train on Wednesday.
Why do they name it alphabetical?
Well, hang on. You've done it before. You've done alphabetical.
Have I?
Yes.
Well, that's okay. Then I don't mind that if you can name it.
You've gone
alphabetical.
down this road before. Why do they do it? Because they like to play secret squirrels.
Well, you can't.
At some
You
point
can't
this
do
week,
it in the NRL. You have to name 1 to 22.
I know. So, mate, on the weekend, they'll name it, right? It'll get named properly. But just to start off with, they're playing a little bit because I actually don't know why.
Yeah. Well,
I
New
don't know
South
why.
Wales do the same?
Well, they have it in the past as well.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. It's not a great theory.
Right, it's
I
just
don't
one of
like
those things that
Yeah.
we just love about Origin, the mystery of Origin. Who's playing where? Hey,
What
Dobbo?
about? I loved how you're a commentator and not an Origin coach. Listen, let's talk about round 14. Bronx had a win, and look, we obviously will talk about Origin a bit more on Thursday, and obviously next week before Perth. I will say though, I won't be here next Monday, and we've got a new bloke hosting next Monday. I've heard.
Yeah, he's a gun too. He
Well,
is a gun.
That's
He's got
that's
his own
words.
podcast.
Yeah, that's his words.
He's got 200 million
Do you know? Can I just say
viewers
this?
listening.
Can we just talk this?
So he's no stranger to the microphone.
No. I just want to talk about white ants. They come in all different shapes and sizes.
Well,
Kevie,
don't
be
move.
very don't trust this bloke.
Yeah, he's very...
Wait till next Monday till you see him. All I'll say is be very careful because he could take your job, Kev.
My job?
Whose
job he's after. It's not mine.
I know that. Be my guest. Okay, let's talk about round 14. It was a good round. There were some positives out of it.
Also some negatives too, mate.
Still a game to play.
A couple of teams got absolutely belted, Dobbo.
Well, the Dolphins showed that they can make the top 8. We know that.
They're sitting there. What are they, in 7th at the moment?
Yep. So let's go through the results and then we'll talk about Knights 26, Manly 22, Golden Point. Then the Cowboys on Friday night got pumped by the Storm in the end. They were just too good, the Storm. 38 points to 14. This one, 56 points to 6, Dolphins over the Dragons. Then the Warriors, they smashed the Sharks. Broncos beat the Titans 44 points to 14. Hey, Josh Papali, the Green Machine.
Oh, well, they were good yesterday.
36 points to 12 over the Rabbits. And then that cracking game, 18 points to 14.
Tigers Penrith.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a cracker too,
Good
which
game
we'll
as
get
well.
to in a minute.
Today, Bulldogs take on the Eels. Okay.
Dobbo, today they're expecting nearly 80,000 people. Those $10 tickets.
Yeah,
you were a Bulldogs fan as a kid, weren't you?
I'm not happy about that.
Yeah, some of the members. Are you a Bulldogs member? Because you were a Bulldogs fan as a kid, weren't you?
Yes, I was.
You used to go to Brookvale Oval with your fence paling and Belmore, sorry.
Yeah.
And just play up like a two-bob watch.
No fence paling,
You
mate.
went there to fight people in the crowd with your Bulldogs jersey on.
Multicultural Day was one of the great days of the year. I remember 1994.
How many fights did you get in?
I've never had a fight. You know, the only fight I've ever had at a field was Brookie. I had a fight on the Brookvale Hill. Never at Leichhardt.
Did you
Never
win?
at Belmore. No. Never at North Sydney Oval.
No.
North Sydney Oval, mate, you drink strawberries and champagne.
Right.
But Brookvale, and it was the day Jack Elsgood was a high shot, I think.
Driver.
Was a high shot.
Oh, he got coat hanging
by Craig Field, I think it might have been.
I remember that. Oh, yeah.
And anyway, I had a brawl that day. I had a brawl on the.
Who did you take on?
I got dropped.
Right.
Yeah.
But who were you fighting?
Just some Manly supporters. But anyway, I wasn't even a South Sydney supporter. We were just out from boarding school and ended up in a rumble. Anyway, Knights. Can we just quickly talk? What are you doing, Adam O'Brien?
Yeah, that was...
Okay, I'm just going to say this now. There is some heartland rugby league teams and clubs. The Steel City, which is Newcastle, which is a coal miners town.
Yeah.
They love their rugby league. They turn up. They got 26,000 to a Women's State of Origin game, dead rubber, in the wet.
In the rain, yeah.
They turn up. They've turned up for the Knights.
And they pay their money.
And they pay their money. You know what? If you're a fan... You're allowed to boo your side. They were rotten to the core in that first half.
You are allowed to boo.
And you can. You're paid for,
I get it. It's not great, right? With fans booing, but I can understand their disappointment.
Mate, they're passionate. That was garbage. It was rotten, that first half. Now, they won and they cheered. So the fact that somebody asked Adam O'Brien that, and I was not prepared for the question and had a crack at him, mate.
Well, he's apologised since, in fairness to him, but probably
Blocker has said... He looks like he wants that payout. That's why he said it. That's all the only thing. Because, mate, you can't say that about your support base.
No, you can't.
He's enemy number one now. It doesn't matter. And I feel sorry for him because he has come out and apologised. But guess what?
Do you think they'll boo him when he gets on?
Mate,
they probably will.
Dreadful,
Knights
mate.
fans. That's
Dreadful.
horrible, isn't it?
Yeah.
Gee,
anyway,
it's a nasty world, this rugby league world.
Cowboys beaten badly by the Melbourne Storm. They had their 30-year anniversary up there on Saturday night.
Stevie Walters went up to that. And I saw Benny Eichen at the airport.
He was there.
Flying to,
he was there.
He was a board member at the
He went up there. Cowboys, yeah.
Did any feedback on the night? I haven't sort of heard
good night.
Too much.
They said a good night. Was on the field. 900 people on the oval. Right. So that was a good night.
I did see a little clip somewhere on socials. Matty Scott up on stage with. Was JT there as well?
Yeah, he would have. Oh, mate, come on.
Yeah, I know. But
Thumper, he was one of the greats, Thumper, Scott.
You know, the disappointing thing for me is the Broncos haven't done a 10-year, 20 or a 30-year, commemorative dinner.
Yeah, why don't they do that?
Well, I don't think they'd get too many people there. It's been a lot of in-house, a lot of things happen at the Broncos in the last.
Well, you wouldn't get
years.
Wayne there. You wouldn't get Kevie there.
No.
There'd be some others
It's
who wouldn't
not
get
that
there.
I wouldn't go,
I don't think Siebes would go.
No, I just don't think I'd be invited. I think
you'd be invited.
Anthony Griffin, I don't think he'd go. You know, he's been. Ivan Henjak certainly wouldn't go. Were all the coaches there? Well, obviously Paul Green has sadly passed
and
away.
I think Muzz is not there either.
And, two of them have passed away. It's very sad. But Stevie was very.
Mate, King was there. No, King was there. King Henry was there.
Yeah, I saw him. He was there with Tommy Dearden.
So he was there. So that's good that he was there, and obviously Todd Payton. So look, I mean, there were coaches there. Yeah, it's an interesting one. The Broncos have never done that. They were beaten 38-14. What do you take out of that?
Yeah, I watched the presser because I did Alfie's lunch on Friday. So
We know that.
yeah,
We know all about that. You had commitments on our show, didn't?
Now I had a few drinks and not too many because I had to work.
You took a selfie with me with a mate to come and claim me
Well,
from school.
Yeah, I know.
Luke Gavin.
Luke Gavin, yeah.
Some blokes claim me that I went to school
I
with.
went to school with Dobbo. I said, well, let's get a photo. What mail have you got on Dobbo? I said, we haven't got enough time today, Kev, to cover it all.
Anyway.
He went to boarding school with you, did he?
Yeah, he was there.
Yeah.
Anyway, Kev had a big day.
But I had a good catch up with Lazo. Was at one of the guest speakers as well, and Sam Kekovich at Alfie's lunch. So
How many people go to Alfie's lunch?
Oh, there was about 300 there.
Where does he have it?
He has it at the old Edamoga pub. It's now what's it called now? The Banana Hotel or something?
Up the coast?
Yeah. Banana Bender Hotel, yeah. So it was a great roll-up, mate.
Who was the MC?
MC was Greg Ritchie, Fat Cat.
Who was he? Oh,
yeah.
God.
He did a great job.
He would have been.
And Sam Kekovich, how funny is he?
Unbelievable, mate. Yeah,
He's funny.
Yeah.
Told some good stories.
Did you get a car up there, mate? Somebody pick you up?
No, I didn't. No, I stayed at Kerrod's house. He lives in
you did?
Caloundra. So after the lunch, I went back to Kerrod's house. Myself, Lazo, and Stephen, and the girls all had a good little chinwag, sort of watching the footy. But
Bit of wine?
A little bit of wine, yeah. You got to enjoy
rosé?
life. No rosé. Sauv Blanc, Dobbo, you know
Sauv
that.
Blanc-y.
That was
Sauv
good to catch up
Blanc-y.
with Big Lazo. Jeez,
Yeah.
he played in 5 grand finals in a row, Lazo. We get him on the show.
We
in a
need to
couple
get him
of
on the
weeks,
show.
so,
We need to get him on the show. Last night I was lucky enough to call that Roosters Canberra game, and the one thing that you see at Allianz Stadium is the big SwiftX sign.
Oh, how
you know,
good.
SwiftX are a partner of the NRL, and guess what? They're now a partner of Inside Ball. I'll tell you what, NRL, Inside Ball, SwiftX, it all works as one. They've got over 450 cryptos on their platform.
Yeah, well, I'm a partner of
SwiftX now?
Yeah, I am.
You joined up?
I joined up, brother.
Good on you. And Bitcoin, Ethereum, Doge, it's all there. One thing SwiftX is the place to buy, sell, and learn about crypto.
I'm learning every day, Dobbo.
It's unlike you. You're not a very fast learner.
I'm a good learner, mate.
Oh, you are. Sorry, you are. SwiftX is the place to go to. Join 850,000 Aussies and kick off your crypto journey today. It's that easy with SwiftX. And you know what? If you join today, $20. $20 a Bitcoin for a listing. I'll tell you now, and Bitcoin has been going like a rocket at the moment. I don't want to get into too technical, but if you're an Inside Ball listener and you join SwiftX, $20 of Bitcoin straight to you. Offers valid for new customers only, so if you've been a little sneaky,
Don't try and be sneaky.
don't try and be sneaky.
But get a mate to
New
join.
clients, the link is in the show notes. It's as simple as that. SwiftX, they're not only partners of the NRL, they're partners of Inside Ball, and Kevie and I love SwiftX. We love crypto, and guess what? We're thankful to be a part of their journey, and they can be a part of yours. So let's talk the other game. I think this is pretty telling. 56 points to 6.
The Dolphins, mate, how good are they going?
They started
Now-
and they never looked like getting
Yeah, their little halves combination.
Katoa. What do you think?
Brilliant player of the future. And also Cody Nikorima has found his form.
He's very
hasn't he?
good,
Their little combination. They've got Farnworth, doing some good things. What about the try from Bosgood? He leaped up in the air, nearly hit his head on the roof at Suncorp. He jumped that high. Hey? Terrific performance. And remember the Dolphins' start to the year? We were sitting here thinking, what are they?
They lost the first 5, didn't they? Or
Well,
lost 4?
3 or...
No, they lost the first 4. They've won 6 of their last 8, so they're rolling along. They will go well. Now
They got the bye this weekend.
and they've got a pretty good draw. I think they'll make the top 8.
Well,
I'm telling you now.
They're in there now, so the challenge is to stay there, which I think they've got enough depth there, the Dolphins, and they're playing some good footy. It's good to see.
Okay, I will tell some bad news for them. It looks like Max Platt's done his ACL.
They said it was he injured his foot.
No, he's done his ACL. So it looks like So that's only they're getting scans today, but I mean he's a huge loss considering they've lost Gilbert, then they lose Plath, and they haven't got Flegler. I mean
that puts a big hole in them.
Big hole.
Just you can get by, but once you get another injury,
they need to go. They
really
need to go
hard.
and actually move forward and try and actually see where they're going. Ray Stone will come back, but he's no Max Plath,
maybe they need
mate.
to go to market and try and get a forward in from somewhere.
Warriors put their hand up as one of the premiership heavyweights. I don't care what you say. 40 points to 10. The Sharks cannot be trusted.
No, they're in a bit of a.
They've had 40 put on them last 2 weeks.
Yeah,
Roosters bye, then another 40.
Well, they were okay into half time, weren't they? But then the blitz from the Warriors in the second half. And again, their halves combination he's leading the Dally M's.
Luke Metcalf.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. What about he played against, like,
that's his old team he played against.
Well, they went and signed Nico. I'd be playing Nico at fullback. I said this yesterday on Simba and everybody, too slow. Mate, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Atkinson and Trindle, to me, look like a better combination and play Nico out the back.
Well, you're starting to think like me as a really smart coach, Dobbo.
Is that what you think?
You're picking up some
Is this
things
what you think?
Yeah, I mean that. You're really starting to think like a coach, mate. Like that, they can't keep doing what they're doing, and it's defence that's letting them down. But you can build pressure with your attack, like the Raiders do, like the Broncos did the other night. You can build pressure with your attack on the opposition, defence, and they're just not getting it right when they need to. So a little change there would help Nico. Right, they bring in that Atkinson, put him.
Yeah, well, he's the 14 at the moment. Play him at 7.
Play
Trindle at 6.
Trindle 6.
Play him out the back. I know Will Kennedy he misses out, but
Kennedy 14, mate. Come on, is that or maybe even.
I'd give it a go. But anyway, they all shouted at me yesterday. Let's talk about the game we all want to do. 44 points to 14. I said 30 plus.
You did.
I said that.
You just missed out though, didn't you?
Well, hang on. Last time I looked, 44 points to 14 is 30. 30 plus. That's the last time I did my math.
Right.
I got it right.
Well,
I didn't miss out. Bang on. Thank you.
You're lucky to get that. Really.
Yeah, well.
And the Titans were,
Let's not take anything away from the Bronx win. Kevie, the jersey, we both loved it. Mental health, such an important thing. And to raise that message for the Black Dog Institute on Saturday night, it was a one-off. It was a pretty special night.
Yeah, I did like the jersey. It looked good. I saw the vision in the dressing room before the game, and they looked like the All Blacks.
They did. Very good. So they played like them as well.
Like the All Blacks.
Energy, up and about. I like the fact Reece was back. Critique his performance.
Reece Walsh, he was the difference, mate. He brings the energy. He brings the skill set. What about his pass? That first pass he threw was 30 metres across field.
Was it forward?
No, it wasn't forward, mate. It's only forward. It wasn't forward. No way. The energy that he brought, I still think he didn't look 100%.
He's not 100%.
He didn't look 100%.
He wanted to play for Renault. He wanted to play for a little mate.
Yep.
He played his 300th. Renault got through. What about the 40-20 from Billy Walters?
Yeah, Billy
Changed
Walters,
it, mate.
good.
He changed the course of the second half. He came on, seriously, that 40-20, they were treading water again. It was like literally that 14-4.
Water at 38-0. Come on, mate.
Well, mate, the second half, it was 14-4 in the second half.
Put the cue on them. That can happen with teams, mate.
Well, mate, you don't want that to happen against a good team.
The Titans were better in the second half. Let's give them a little bit of credit. They were much better in the second half. They started to play the sort of football that Des expects them to play. But certainly Reece Walsh was the star, mate. We knew he would be. That's what he brings to a football team.
Best game Ricky's played for a while.
Jordan Ricky. They're all good, mate. They're all good. And it was about time too, let's just say.
Yeah, I agree.
They started to show something. Adam Reynolds, well done, big fella. 300 games. Great milestone for you. Katoni Staggs, he was back to his powerful best.
Wasn't he good?
Didn't have a bad play, did they? Payne was good.
Scored off the first set.
Yeah.
I haven't seen that happen for a long time.
No,
Can I just say this now? You're not going to...
Right, did they raise money with those jerseys for mental health?
All for mental health.
Right.
Yeah, for the Black Dog
that's a good
Institute.
thing.
Yeah. I think Des is done, and I don't think it can go on.
Well, Desi's presser was...
horrific. 2 minutes 20.
Dobbo, you've got to put your coach's cap on here because sometimes you think you are a coach, right? That is so hard to go in there after... Your team's got smashed, and you know that the media are going to be coming after you.
He's won 3 games this season, Kev. You're defending a bloke,
he
has an origin side forward pack, and he goes in there, and he doesn't... Kieran Foran wasn't even allowed to be asked a question. You know what? It's not the media.
What do you mean he wasn't allowed?
He didn't get asked a question. We were about to ask him. He cut the interview off.
Right.
Now, hang on. I get where you're saying this, but
as a coach.
No,
so.
I'm not saying you did, but it's not just about the media. Fans want to hear from the coach. I've got a Titans fan who said after that press conference, I'm done with the Titans, right? They wanted to hear something more than that. It's not about, Des isn't speaking to the media. It might be uncomfortable, but it's the greater audience that actually who get on there, who can't afford to go to the game, who hear that. And Des shows no respect. He got warned the week before because he was critical.
Well, he got into Casey Badger, didn't he?
So, and then this week he just decided to have a 2-minute. He's done. I don't care. They can come out and say, and I know you don't like getting involved in this. I'm saying this. They need to move on from Des. And if he doesn't make the 8 at the end of the year, the Titans have an opportunity to move him on. That is on Steve Mitchell. And Steve, I'm going to tell you now, you need to move forward with this. Like I'm being that genuinely, because they are not playing for him. And that performance in the press conference was full on. It shouldn't have happened. All right, now let's go to a good story. Your old club. I'm all right.
You're off your rant.
Bloody coaches defending coaches.
Have you not taken your pills this morning?
No, I haven't. I'm a bit rattled.
Right.
Coaches defending coaches pisses me off. I can tell you blokes, you're all united together.
I've walked in desert shoes. Well, I haven't walked in desert shoes, but as a coach, after a presser, when your team hasn't performed at a level,
of course, but you've still got to stand up.
You have to, mate, but it's hard though. I appreciate it's hard.
I get that, but I mean, he's the master of spinning.
I know. It's fine.
36 points to 12.
Actually, why was Wayne not at his presser? Do you know?
I don't know. I'm not defending Wayne either. I'm not getting down that road. No, I don't know.
Because I thought that was a bit strange. Because he normally fronts up.
He might have had the SHs because they were
their
leading.
second half.
Well, they were leading 12-0.
Yeah.
Then they got back to 12-4 at half time.
And you know, watching it, and I heard, I'm going to be honest here, Ricky Stewart and all the Raiders fans, at Ricky's press conference at the end of last week said, we got one more game to go and then we get the bye. We were all looking forward to that rest. And I thought, that's probably, if your players hear that. But thankfully...
They're on, mate.
It was...
Horsburgh's 100th, Timoko's 100th, and Papa's 319 breaks the record as the all-time...
And they did it well, didn't they, the Raiders? You know, Anthony Milford flew down for that game? I was really pleased when I heard that.
Well, him and Papa were bloody
They're
close.
thick as thieves, mate.
You know why...
I spoke to Milf this morning. He said, mate, it was a great day. It was just so good.
What he got 2 tries and he kicked the goal. It was a good goal as well.
Straight through the middle.
36 points to 12. Canberra, where do you put them? Like, benchmark them now. They're going their first bye.
Top 4, right? Top 4. They'll finish top 4. Which you need to. If you're going to win the premiership, history tells us you need to be in that top 4, right? So they'll finish in the top 4, definitely. You know what I like about the Raiders? They're unconventional. They got so many tackle busters in their side, right? And they got a forward pack that means business, and they play hard. And the other thing is their defensive line. It's good. They work together. It's hard to score points against the Raiders.
Well, Tamale looks like he could be gone with a kneecap.
Dislocated kneecap or something.
So he'll come back.
Yeah, I think they got enough depth there to cover.
Guess who's next in line?
Who's next?
Jed Stewart. Come on down.
Is he right?
Yeah,
okay, good old Jed.
Jed Stewart.
Right,
Ricky's son will make his debut
well, they're on the bye now next week.
In the next couple of weeks.
Right.
Won't that be a story? Yeah. So he's been 18th man in around there, and he just there's no player to drop.
No.
They've been so good, and Tamale is unbelievable.
Yeah.
Jed Stewart will play for Canberra. Now, I will say this about Canberra. If Canberra and the Warriors, if you look at their draws, they could finish 1-2. Mate, good luck going down there for a home semi, 2 home semis. Yeah, well, you're trying to get through New Zealand.
Nearly into... Yeah. That'll be warmer weather down there.
Or go to New Zealand. You think you have to go over there twice. 2 home semis, mate. I tell you, it could be a Warriors-Canberra grand final. It could be the way it's going.
I'm not saying it can't be, right? But the Bulldogs will have something to say about that. The Storm.
Yeah. So are the Broncos.
Maybe the Broncos. People are saying that,
Yeah, 18. Panthers had a good gutsy win, but they should... Benji's going to cop a fine. He will cop a fine because he was critical of the 2 decisions, the escort and that.
Well, he said that cost him the game, you
Yeah.
know? And I just don't think that's a good message to be sending to your players.
He'll be fined or he'll get a warning. But anyway, he's frustrated.
It's one of the first things my father told me. Do never, ever blame the referee for your loss. Ever. If I hear it out of your mouth, I don't want to hear it.
Hey, Kratzmann's Caravan RV Super Centre. Motorhomes, Caravans, Burpengary, end of financial year. The player on the move. Now, you said it last week, and it's come true.
Yeah.
Tommy Dearden.
Tommy Dearden, mate. Unfortunately for DCE, he's been omitted from the Queensland State of Origin squad, and Tom Dearden is in. A lot of people predicted that, but he's the Kratzmann man of the week, Tommy Dearden. He'll be this, and
I didn't think he was that good. I didn't think he was that good against the Storm, but I know he's there. Yeah. And he's on the move, and he's in the side.
He's in the caravan on the move.
7.
The Kratzmann Caravan on the move, Dobbo. Trust me.
Okay.
He's on his way down to Brisbane from North Queensland.
Go Tommy Dearden. Go Kratzmann's Caravan. End of financial year sale. He's our player on the move for this week. Okay. Now, some questions for Kev. Always. AB, when or will we expect Piakura to return to the 2023 form? I thought he was better. I thought Piakura was bloody brilliant.
Brendan played his best game on the weekend.
Yeah.
That's what I heard Billy Slater on 9, I think it was, over the weekend. His name's been discussed at that level. He's been in that squad before, but he just needs to focus on the Broncos, Brendan.
Yeah.
He showed what he can do, against the Titans. Now, let's see a bit more of that. And, he's obviously got a lot of talent, so he just needs to knuckle down and stick to what he's doing. He's a good player, very good player.
Cobbo played yesterday.
Queensland Cup.
Yeah, I don't think he'll be back in with Carapani the way he played.
Carapani was good. He's picked up a couple of tries and showed lots of energy. That was a strange one, Cobbo leaving him out, but paid off on the weekend. Who's his feeder club? Cobbo.
Wynnum Manly.
Wynnum.
Yeah. This question comes from Ben. Is Mal Meninga a good appointment?
I think so.
Yeah.
I definitely think so. He's got a strong culture-based Mal with what he does in rugby league. He's obviously highly recognisable, which I think is important for the Perth market and the WA market, and he'll get some good people around him as well. Mel's a bit of a pioneer because his early days at the Raiders, he understands what it's like, trying to break into rugby league, into the national competition. So, I think it's a really good appointment, and I think he'll do a tremendous job.
At this point, Kevie, this is from Wyatt Porter. Do you have a prediction on who the two grand final teams will be?
Oh, Wyatt. This one's from Wyatt, eh? Okay. At the moment, I'm going to say the best defensive team, that is the Bulldogs. I'm going to go Bulldogs-Raiders grand final right now.
Right. Is that right?
Yep.
Now, here's one from Adam. Why the first Sunday game halftime break is it only 6 minutes? It happens most Sundays. Well, I didn't know this.
Well, I'm not aware of it either, but it would be to make sure that the television coverage rolls
into the 4
don't
o'clock. Overlap 4 o'clock.
They don't overlap.
Gee whiz, that's a short.
But I do know, Dobbo, these days, and I knew this I've known this for a long time. The games are getting longer. The duration
way longer. Way longer.
It used to be an hour and a half. Now it's 2 hours.
2 hours.
And it's growing. With all the bunker decisions and captain's challenges, and when you get a big blowout score like a 56-6, it's try after try after try. It just blows out the timeline.
Do you see the Panthers playing a part in the finals this season?
They'll play finals, the Panthers.
Right.
They will play.
Okay.
We had a discussion about this a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah.
Who's going to move out? Well, the top eight's changed again. Manly are gone. They've dropped out. Who else? Someone else dropped out of the 8 to get Redcliffe, the Dolphins, back in, and the Broncos are back in the 8.
Yeah.
So there's a couple of
Manly and the Roosters have dropped out. Manly and the Roosters.
The Roosters haven't been in the 8. So, maybe they were.
The ladder today, as we speak, and I'll just give everybody the ladder at the end of with one game to play. Raiders are at the top. The Bulldogs play today. Warriors, Storm, Sharks, Cowboys, Dolphins, Bronx. So the Seagulls, the Roosters, and the Dragons have all dropped out of the 8.
Right.
All right.
The Dragons were the one. Yeah. Okay.
That's it from us here on Inside Ball. We're back on Thursday. Kevie, enjoy it.
I will.
Have a good week. Go Queensland and go the Bulldogs this afternoon.